Hey guys, CreamCrazy here. Welcome. This is a little video you probably didn't expect from me. Well, if you're subscribed to my Facebook, you will know that I said I felt like doing a video because of a small little news article that popped up on NoDQ.com. Well, here I am doing a little top video about that because, ladies and gentlemen, whenever a news article takes my interest, I don't jot it down and wait till in the news to do it, because obviously I haven't got as many important news bulletins to be able to do that anymore. So I will occasionally just do one of these. Now, I often look at, whenever I hear this title, Backstage change, and I go, okay, reshuffling of the company structure maybe, or possibly something to do with a creative guy losing his job, that kind of thing. When I see the title, Vince McMahon wants Backstage changes, I don't know what to expect. So I click on it, I wonder, okay, what the hell is in here? Well, let me tell you, because NoDQ.com has given me something which I honestly prayed I would never have to read. Okay, first off, I'm reading this entire article from start to finish because honestly, you guys have already checked it, but I just want to make sure if anyone hasn't, you understand why I'm a little bit frustrated. Okay, Vince McMahon has been furious with WWE.com staff. There's a feeling that heads may roll in the company, meaning they could get axed. See what I did there? During the WrestleMania 29 hype several weeks back, Vince met with the New Jersey Governor, Chris Christie, and there was nobody from the website present to photograph, film, or cover the event. Now, that may be due to the fact that they were either hyping a pay-per-view up or they were busy doing stuff in the office. Now, I cannot vouch for any employee at WWE at this point. One, because I don't work for them, and second, I have no idea how busy their work schedule is. Speaking of Vince, he now wants more rehearsals at WWE events and wants the writers and producers to communicate more. There are a lot of fingers being pointed at the problems at Extreme Rules, including Cena's promo and Brock Lesnar almost getting hurt, as well as timing issues on Raw. Now, that I can sense is an issue for Vince. He wants everything to be streamlined, but obviously, honestly, to God! There's never going to be that streamlined in a company like this. Now, of course, communication in an industry, even in this kind of industry, is vital, and it's obvious that it's needed. The fact is, Cena's promo, they should have built on it instead of going with this fucking Cena-Laurinaitis feud. Okay? Because now, after watching Raw, I'm a bit gutted, I'm a bit dejected, and I honestly feel that was a waste. So they could have just done what they did before, what Lesnar suggested, and had him carried out on a stretcher. The timing issues of Lesnar almost getting hurt, he sold it like a boss and made him look much more of a badass that he landed on his knee, could have potentially fucked it up badly, was selling the limping, and then laughed it off. I mean, honestly, I said this in my review, that was genius. I didn't know if it was legitimate or a botch, but for fuck's sake, it made Lesnar more awesome, and if that's what they call an issue, then I have no idea what is either stuck in their head or stuck in their ass. Because that, to put it bluntly, if that's an issue for them, then they really have no idea what they're doing. I also have timing issues on Raw. I didn't see much timing issues. Okay, maybe they rushed a few things. I don't know. I haven't watched the entire show. I've watched bits of it. So I'm not really sure how every match would have gone. Oh, actually, no, I think I know what they mean by the timing issues. The referee botching the Jericho match. If that's a timing issue, la-dee-da, just talk with the referee. Or better yet, just don't script the matches. But then I get to this point, which makes me want to stab something. One person close to the process expects that WWE content will be more rigidly scripted and that Vince is going to have to approve just about everything. Oh, God. No. 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 Now, usually, guys, you will see me good side, bad side of an argument. The fact is, I find it... okay, you know me. how I've often thought that for WWE to be as legitimate as possible as a sport company, despite being the entertainment factor that they often stuff in, it's important if the matches are as free-flowing as they can be, it's fine. Because to be perfectly honest with you, the scripting of everything will just... Basically, if this happens, ladies and gentlemen, I bet we watch Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view, and we will look at it and we will say, we can tell every single bit is scripted. And we will look at it and we will say, we won't be able to tell if what the superstar is saying has any passion anymore. We won't be able to tell in ring, basically, if anything's happening as fluidly as it should. Because the Sin Cara matches was so choreographed, you could tell that he really, really was uncomfortable. You could tell Sheamus and Christian was slow as hell back at Hell in a Cell / Survivor Series, whatever it was they were wrestling at. I can't remember now. I think it was Vengeance they were wrestling at. It was slow as hell, and I gave it a 0. The fact is, you can't script everything, Vince. Sure, you're the big kingpin. But I keep saying this, you are too old to basically say everything about this company is mine, and therefore anything that's put out there has to go past me. Because, man, you have definitely lost touch. And if you want to script everything, I can see the positives of that, making sure everyone gets what they want to right, but then if you botch it, someone botches something, you're going to give them an earful. Now, Vince, your daughter is head of creative. Feed it through her, because that's her fucking job. Feed it to the bookers. Feed it to the head of creative. You may be the big dog, Vince, but you are definitely not the right person to seek counsel from on how things should be scripted. Now, I've watched the product for 10 years. I should know that by now. And some of you should as well. See, these are the kind of things that make me ponder whether Vince McMahon is truly fit for the job he's doing. Now, I'm not going to be a person campaigning Vince out because he's obviously got a legacy and I have to trust him sometimes for good business decisions. I mean, the Summer of Punk was one of the best things I'd ever seen in the last 10 years of my watching, and despite that, I'm still here. The fact is, I just want WWE to be much more real in the approach of where it takes things. You can't script everything. Because honestly, if you do, you'll make it look like you're trying to... Basically, you're trying too hard to make your event perfect. But the problem is, in life, you can't make everything perfect. I have got blocked ears, tinnitus, bad back, I'm balding, and not to mention, I've got a load of other problems too. Most of them aren't too big problems, but honestly, my life ain't fucking perfect. Vince McMahon should not believe that his company is pristine and perfect. Because you had a fucking drug scandal twice in the company. You've also had creative who are basically not good enough for the job and you keep around. The women's wrestlers can't wrestle to begin with and you have to waste precious resources training them from scratch. Your basic mentality of business may be to keep the pay-per-view prices high because you know it'll make the money and you know people will just buy anyway because it's WWE product, but at the same time alienate the fans who have not got the money to spend. Some things like that make me say you're trying too hard to basically make your company as big and as best as it can be, because you've got to understand you cannot do that all the time. Now, TNA make mistakes all the while. And I know you're probably saying to me, they make a shitload of mistakes, you're going to call them out. They make mistakes, they just don't learn from them and then rectify them. That's their issue. With WWE, they try not to make mistakes. And then when they do, it's glaringly obvious they have done, and it makes them look like idiots. And then when they feel that they are made to look like idiots, they then have to... Then Vince McMahon just shouts around, goes mental, and then basically makes his company look like it's on the rocks again internally. And you've got to understand, Vince, to trust your employees, because you're paying their fucking salaries, you can't just tell them to do absolutely everything the way you want. I know it's your company, I keep stressing that, but come on. You've got to trust their creativity, to trust their ability in the job you have bloody hired them for. Because if I was in your position, I would give them the rein to do what their fucking job gave them. And I would actually listen to them. Because sometimes being the head honcho of a company does pay a price. And this is one of them, where a fan like me can call you out on your issues and effectively, I believe, make them justified. Now, obviously, Vince, like I say many times, you're never going to listen to a guy like me. Because I'm not part of your demographic, for one. I am a person whose opinion doesn't effectively matter. Because I can think of better ideas than you on some occasions. I have pointed out just now, I can just tell your employees to do what they can, and if it turns out to be a success, okay, keep it going. But you shouldn't. My God, you shouldn't just keep telling them, okay, do this. Okay, this has some promise, but I don't like this. Not going to happen. Because fluidity in the product naturally occurs when you just let things go as they should. Trust your employees, trust your wrestlers, trust your bookers, creative people, trust your camera workers, trust everyone to at least do the job they are bloody hired to do, and maybe I will not be complaining about the internal workings of a company, one, I have never worked for, and second, have no knowledge of who the workers are, apart from the wrestlers and a few creative people. But honestly, I have to go on about this because in some people's cases, I would say WWE internally is a mess. Because if they have to resort to stuff like this to try and get everything back on track, it shows that... Basically, why doesn't Vince just build from the ground up again? Fire every single person in the company that's... He sees as going against it. And why doesn't he? Guys, I'm going to end it there. You know all the links down below. You know all the stuff. I've been Cream Crazy. You've been people watching. I'll see you next week. I'm going to do the Friday flashback next week. La-di-da. Cheers.